Welcome to Finding 40, from maternity to mugshots and everything in between. Okay, let's get started. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have the beautiful, powerful Michelle joining me today to tell her story. And we've just been chatting a little bit before we got started here. And you've already said so many powerful, I feel like, impactful things. Where do you want to start with where do you want it all to start?
Well, I really want to thank you for having me.
Oh,
It's really important to me to be a voice,
yes,
to be a voice for that woman that is afraid,
yes,
to be a voice for that woman that doesn't have the courage or doesn't have the strength to move, to speak, to ask for help.
yeah.
And I just want to tell you how wonderful it is that you have the desire and you have the will to go forth and help women bring out their stories and to feel safe and to feel empowered to be able to talk to others as well as you. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you. I told you it's hard for me not to cry, and I'm already gonna. Let me stop. Yeah. No, but thank you. I think it's important that women have this platform. And as I was telling you, it's, going a little slower than what I'd like because it is my passion project. And so hopefully I've applied for some grants and things like that. And hopefully down the future, that'll be it. But I'm so happy that you connected and thankful for the connections that have been happening along this journey.
Right.
And just every story that I hear, I'm inspired by.
Right.
And so it's been so healing and powerful for me, like beneficial for me personally. So I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. And, I am just like many women, one of those women who always had the dream and the want and the desire to be a wife.
Yeah.
To be a mom, have that white picket fence, to be that family that we all desire as we're growing up.
Right.
And I thought that this final time was going to be him. Yeah. We were the best of friends. We laughed. We talked about anything. We practically liked the same things, even our food, down to that. We just became really good friends before anything.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that I admired about him because it wasn't fake.
Right.
It
felt comfortable and natural.
Yes. All of that. This is a 10-year relationship that he and I had. When he wanted to get married, I wasn't ready. Or when I wanted to, he wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like a volleyball game, hitting the ball back and forth.
Right.
But I never paid attention to anything like that. I just thought it wasn't our time.
The timing
it wasn't time.
Right.
Yeah, it was always something. And we never lived together. We always dated and did everything together, but we always had our own place. So he would go home, I would go home after, or I would spend the night with him, vice versa. But we never had the same address.
Right.
And it was fine, but when you are courting someone or dating someone, they can be who they want to be because they're at home.
Right.
They're in their own privacy. So when you talk to them on the phone, you get what you get over the phone, and anyone can say anything over the phone.
Right, right.
You can't tell any body language. You can't tell anything in their eyes. You can't tell anything that they may be feeling on something that you're saying to them that they may not like.
Right.
So I'll fast forward a little bit because he's never called me out of my name. He's never treated me badly. He's never put a hand on me ever.
There's no red flags going off like,
no,
I need to be cautious.
No, absolutely not. So I'll fast forward, and now this is 2021, and he's like, we're getting married, Michelle. This is ridiculous. And one of the things I remember him saying is that your son is a minister. He's gone to school and he's a minister. And I do not want to be living with you and not marry you because of that alone. And I was thinking, because that alone, he says, I know that you're the person I want. Mm-hmm. You're the only person that I've ever thought about marrying again, because he's been married before. Mm-hmm. And you're the only one. What's the problem? And, and I was thinking, he's right. I'm about to turn 50. What am I waiting for? We can't stay away from each other.
Right.
We are like red and it's to blue. We're like, we mix.
Yeah.
So I said yes. So he got down on a knee, he proposed and everything. So we move in together at that point. And this was in January of 2021. So it was great. He cooked, he cleaned, he did everything for me. He would pack my lunch. We were like fitness fanatics. We worked out together every day. He saw that I was working out, so it encouraged him.
Right.
So we did everything together.
So you've got your best friend living with you now.
Yes. Everything was great. January comes and he's like, okay, we're going to get married in August on your birthday. And I'm like, okay. And I said, I would like to do a destination wedding, or I would just like to go somewhere and all of our friends and family come with us. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a big wedding. I wasn't going to get like this big gown. Formal. I was just going to get this really cute outfit, nothing major. And so he agreed. Well, here's my first red flag is my mom says, I'm not going. And I'm like, what? Because I'm an only child.
Oh, wow.
And she supports me with everything. She even supported me with him. Even if she didn't like him for whatever reason, she still supported me. And she was like, I'm not going because I don't like to travel anymore. I'm getting in at the age where I just don't want to travel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how am I going to go get married to my best friend
and not have my mom,
there?
Yeah.
And we're only going to go to Vegas. So we decided we're going to Vegas.
Right.
My mom has friends there. We were going to do an Airbnb, have everyone stay, have the wedding at the Airbnb.
Right.
That was our plan. She backs out. But I still didn't see that as, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't.
Right.
Because, again, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So time moves on. So I tell him, so now we're like months down the road. Everything's going fine. There's nothing to complain about at all. And it's time for us to get married. And I'm like, I can't go. And he was like, because of your mom? And I said, yes. He was like, okay, well, let's just do it here. And I'm like, and this is where we were from, which is Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. So he takes over now. Yeah. So he calls into work and tells them the date that we're getting married, and he's taking off that date. We're having it at the park in Tulsa. And he took off work and he changed the date. So we were supposed to do it. My birthday's in August, but now it's moved to May. So January we moved in, he moved it up.
Okay.
So since we're not going to Vegas, we're going to do it earlier.
Go ahead and do
and I
it
was
now.
like, okay. So I had a week. So he bought the rings, and I had to call and tell everyone. This was on a Friday when he called work because he was off that day, and told him that next Friday he's not coming to work because he's getting married. So he did it early. So I had to tell everyone, I need you guys to take off work.
With a week's notice.
We're
getting married.
We're getting married at the park here in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? But everyone showed up.
Yeah.
My aunt married us.
Aww.
It was a beautiful day. We wore shirts that were like established with his last name on it.
Aww.
It was a beautiful day.
Right.
We had a great time. We took our wedding photos on the day we got married. So a friend did our wedding photos for us. We were dressed up, and it was a beautiful time. So things are starting to change a little bit a couple of days later, because so the first question was, when is your last name changing? And I'm like, well, you got to give me a little time.
We just got married.
We just did this. You know, hey, we need to go file it.
Right.
When are you changing your name? And I'm like, okay, well, where are you going? Never done this before. Like, where are you going? I'm like, to the store. I'll be right back. For what? You know, things like that immediately started. But yet I'm not thinking anything.
Right.
I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, what is wrong with him? Why is he acting this way?
Because you've been friends for so long. You've had a good
10
relationship.
10 years.
Yeah.
And I coughed it up to we just got married. And so he's excited. He just wants me around.
Yeah.
He, you know, I thought all of that.
Adjusting to the married life.
Well, it got worse. It just increased. And I'm still not paying attention to it. He started to get very, very possessive in a way that was not good. Like, you can't hug him. Why are you hugging your friend's husband? And I'm like, they're my friends.
Yeah.
And they're your friends too.
Right.
And I remember, so we get married in May. So Juneteenth, I hugged my friend's husband. I had a group of friends, and we all did everything together. And it was probably like 10 of us. Mm-hmm. And I was finally the one that wasn't the fifth wheel, as they call it.
Yeah.
I finally have my person, my husband, showing up, and he's always like been around them. He knew them.
Yeah.
But they didn't know us as husband and wife.
Right.
So this was exciting for me.
Yeah.
And I just hugged him, and when he saw that, he immediately became angry. He made me walk home. We were at an event, and he made me walk home. We were downtown Tulsa.
Oh, my gosh.
And the walk was probably about, not by mile, but by minute, about 45 minutes. And it was 2 a.m. We had left.
That's not safe.
No. I had to walk through like the homeless shelter. I had to go all the way down through all of this, and it's very dark. And my cell phone wouldn't work because it was a concert, so everything was off. Yeah. So the phones were not ringing. And, you know, and just to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have called anyone because I would have been humiliated.
Embarrassed.
I would have been embarrassed to tell them my husband, who I just married, is not letting me in the car because I hugged my friend's husband, and I have to walk home.
Right.
I probably wouldn't have done it. And so I walked home, and I kept trying to use my phone. The closer I got to the courthouse, it began to work. And I tried one last time to call an Uber. And this lady picked up, and she picked up, and she was like 2 miles away. So I stopped in front of the courthouse, and I just waited, and I just looked around, and I thought, what happened?
Yeah.
How is my life like this?
After
all this time, how did we go from 0 to 100 with you not letting me in the car to fend for myself at 2 a.m. while you go home and you're in bed when I got there?
Asleep like nothing happened?
Yes. And the Uber lady was like, what are you doing? She said, what are you doing out here like this?
Yeah.
Because I was not even going to pick this up. I'm on my way home. I'm done. I've been out here because it's concert. And I was like, I know. That's where I was at. And she was like, I don't even know why I picked it up because I had no intentions. And I said, that was God looking out for me. Right. So when I got home, you know, I didn't say anything. I just went to bed. And I thought, in the morning, we'll have a hard conversation about what just happened. And throughout the night, he would wake up, you know, once he realized that I was there. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You know, all of that. And I began to feel incomplete. I began to feel like I didn't matter. I felt like you married me just because. It wasn't because of love.
Right.
Because how does someone do that to their wife and go to sleep?
Right. Because your safety, none of that was his
mattered.
concern.
None of that was an issue. And, I don't know. I'm different because if someone's out, I can't rest until I hear the door shut.
Right, right.
Even with my kids, even with him, it's like, oh, he made it. Okay. Now I can go to sleep.
Text me when you get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me know you're safe.
Right.
So we had a hard conversation, but there were all of the I'm sorries, and I don't know what I was thinking. I had too much, I was drinking a little bit. He wasn't drunk, but he was drinking, but he wasn't bad.
Right.
So time moves on, and it's getting worse. He's going through my phone. He's checking to see the miles on the car. These are red flags, okay? Right. But I didn't leave. I had just told the world, my friends, my family, that I was the happiest I had ever been. How am I going to take that back and tell them what I'm going through?
Right.
I can't. I won't.
And so I think so many women feel that. You have that shame, and so you keep it hidden, and then it allows it to grow, get bigger.
It grows and grows, and you feel like I can change things. What did I do that I could do something different? What happened? If I didn't hug him, this wouldn't have happened.
Right. Right.
So I'm not going to hug anybody.
I'm not going to hug anybody anymore.
I'm going to be more mindful of his feelings.
Yes.
I'm going to just take care of his feelings. Yeah. So that means I'm just going to change who I am.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to me.
No.
But that's how much I was willing to do that.
Right.
Because I didn't want to fail. I didn't want anyone to see me fail.
Right.
I'm about to turn 50. How can this be happening to me now? I thought I made the right choice.
Right.
I chose him because I loved him. I didn't choose him for anything else.
Right.
Nothing that he could do for me, nothing that I wanted him to do for me. It was strictly I loved him.
Your intention and your heart was
in the right place. My heart was totally.
So you're like, this is going to work out because my heart's in the right place.
Yes. And I felt his was too.
Right.
And I feel that he portrayed that until I said I do. And once I said I do, and we're under the same roof, he can't control it anymore. Yeah. Because now I'm really finding out who he really is.
Right.
And I don't like it, but yet I'm still trying. So time moves on, and now it's my birthday. My birthday's in August. The last day of August. And I had a big dinner party with all of these friends, but it was only women. My mom... And we all wore white, and he was the only guy that went, okay? And I look back now, I embraced it because it was my 50th birthday, and I wanted to be with my husband.
Right.
But yet he should have not been there.
Right.
We should have done something separate.
He should have allowed you to have your time.
Yes. If all of them had planned this and was coming for this, he should have backed away and planned something for us on a different day.
Right.
If not the day before or the day after.
Right.
He was the only one there. And so I am a very, very likable person. I always have. I don't meet strangers. I have the same friends that I've had since grade school.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
I can see that because as soon as I met you, I'm like, drawn
like
to
I've
you.
always known you.
Yeah, comfortable.
So with that being said, my social media was blowing up.
Yeah.
My Facebook, I got like 600 happy birthdays. People were sending videos and, songs, and I was getting all of that. Well, I had wine that night of my birthday. And when I got home, I just zapped out, like totally out. He put me to bed. But when he put me to bed, he sat beside me on the bed and was going through my phone. He was getting angered because people was sending me videos, and some people sung happy birthday to me, and it's your 50th birthday, happy birthday.
It was a monumental birthday.
Yes.
And you're getting
it was
love and
yes, and he didn't like it. He was angered. So he woke my mom up. He called her at 2:30 in the morning, woke her up crying that I'm cheating on him because he doesn't understand why all of these people are saying happy birthday to me. And this guy he sung a song to her. You know, he's going through all of this. He's going ballistic, but he's not in a state of where he's like crazed.
Yeah.
He's just crying like he's hurt. So he wakes me up and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm apologizing for what other people sent me. There was nothing in my social media that showed I was interacting with anyone.
Right.
There was nothing like that at all.
Nothing disrespectful.
So in exchange for that, and for him to get past it, I had to agree to have social media with him. So I had to shut mine down and create a page with he and I together.
Oh, man.
Red flag. Big red flag.
Yeah.
Big red flag. So he would have access to it. He could change the password when he wanted, you know, or I still was friending all of the people that I always had.
Right.
You know, I had nothing to hide.
Yeah.
So I'm friending them, but he's deleting them. He's deleting all the males. And I'm thinking, why did my cousin not accept my friend request?
Oh, your own family.
Yeah.
He's deleting.
Because he doesn't really know who they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he doesn't know who they are. So he's just deleting them.
Doesn't matter. If they're a man, they're out of here.
Yes. So and I didn't know this until after everything. He went to different ones' jobs to find out why they were talking to me and how they knew me and how long they've known me. He went to their place of employment.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't good. But I didn't know this. So I was in a situation, and this was kind of the final thing. So he put me in a different car than I was driving, and he put me in like a Camaro that he had, and I would drive it. And this particular day, this is when everything started to change bad. I got in the car to go to Bath and Body Works, and I didn't tell him. So he called the police and told the police that I had stole his car.
Reported it stolen?
He reported it stolen.
As his wife?
As his wife. The police come out, but I'm not there. I ended up answering his call, and I wasn't thinking. I freaked out, and I drove to Oklahoma City. I didn't go back home. The police were there, and he had them like on the phone, and they said that I didn't steal the car. The only way that I would steal the car is if I never came back, because my name was not on the car.
Oh.
But I was entitled to keep the car a certain period of time because I am married to him.
Yeah.
So I stayed in Oklahoma City for 2 days. So you know how that was.
Yeah.
So when I came back, he was on the sofa, like all of his stuff was packed up. And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to leave. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I'm like, do I really want him to leave? You call the police on me.
Right.
But I'm taking the guilt because he called the police on me. That was backwards.
Right.
So we talked about everything, and guess what? He didn't leave.
Yeah.
And I met my friend, and I told her, I met her at lunch, and I told her, I said, I think I've made one of the worst mistakes of my life.
Oh, man.
So now this is in September.
Yeah.
And she says, what are you talking about? I said, I think this is one of the worst mistakes of my life, and I don't know what to do. And she said, well, if you want to leave him today, no judgment here. I love you. I will help you. You can stay at my house however long you need. You don't even have to go home and get your stuff. You can come with me right now. Yeah. Are you fearful of your safety? I'm like, no, I'm not fearful. I just feel like I need to go and talk to him and just see what the problem is and see if we can fix it. Maybe go to therapy or something. You know, I'm rationalizing. And she was like, okay. You know, and domestic violence was really high during that time. You know, Oklahoma has the highest.
Because this is COVID,
it's
right?
COVID.
Yes.
And Oklahoma is like ranked number one with domestic violence.
Right.
Nationally.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking that. She's not thinking that either.
Right.
But I'm just saying at that time, it was so high. I don't know why I didn't think of it.
escalating to that point.
I didn't think that part at all. I didn't think of him that way because he's never done it.
Right.
So that was not, I should have not went home, but he didn't do anything. He just would walk around angry, or he would ignore me, or he would, and ignoring someone is kind of like hitting them.
Yeah.
It brings a feeling, a sensation to a person who's been battered, that they're battered again when you're being ignored.
I need to look up. I saw a quote or a statistic that said, like stonewalling or ignoring someone, what it does to like your brain,
your endorphins
is similar to getting physically hit. Yes.
Physically hit.
Yeah.
And I was just feeling all of these different emotions, and now I know why. Because, after going to therapy, I know why I was just feeling all of these emotions. Like, I can't let this happen. So I'm going to fast forward. So nothing is getting better. It's just that we're tolerating it. And, and I'm just like.
And you're slowly dying as who you are as a person.
Yes, I have completely.
Because
it wasn't even slowly. It was like I was all or nothing.
I'm going to not hug anybody. I'm going to give him the social media.
I didn't go hang out with my friends. I wasn't talking to them as much. I was centered around him. I wanted him to feel safe. I wanted him to feel that I was present. I wanted him to feel that I was all in.
Yeah.
So I changed everything.
Yes.
And even my look began to change. I wasn't as happy as I was with the smile, and, I all of that changed. So I knew that something was going to happen. It was either I was going to not be well, or he was going to have to do a lot of soul searching and change. I knew something, but I'm still there.
Right.
And I haven't told anyone. So finally we're in October, and I went to have a colonoscopy. He went through my phone again, and I've asked him so many times, do not go through my phone. Do not go through my phone for anything. It is not your business.
Yeah. And
he did. And he did not want me talking to anybody. He was angered, and he would not feed me. He wouldn't help me up the stairs. I'm still kind of out of it. He wouldn't even help me do anything.
I was going to ask, was he supportive when you had the procedure done at all?
And he sat in the living room and would not respond to me at all. So I called my mom, and she was like, what do you want to do? What do you think? And I said, I don't know what to do. When I stayed, I just tried to do whatever I could, apologized. I stayed. And now life is about to change in a way that I never knew, never experienced, and never saw coming. And on Black Friday, November 26th of 2021, his brother and sister-in-law had come in to spend the weekend with us for Thanksgiving. So they was with us from out of state. And we had gone to Thanksgiving at my mom's and then his dad's. And we had a great Thanksgiving. Everything was good. And we spent majority of the time that day at his dad's. Because he lived a little further away from my mom. And so I had been there most of the day with him. I had been there all day interacting with the stepmom, her kids, his dad, and I. We were like, we had a really good relationship, and we would do crossword puzzles together. So I made sure that I spent time with everyone evenly. Mm-hmm. And so it was getting late in the evening, and so I just kind of sat in the chair, and I grabbed my cell phone, and I started just scrolling on Facebook, and I played a game, and he was angered by that because from across the way, he couldn't see what I was doing. So he made a comment to his family that that's all I do. That's all she cares about is social media. So I just said, that's not true. So he was angered about that. So we went home, and he drove a curve. He in this Camaro. He did the curve doing 145 miles an hour. He had one of the top Camaros that it was like a Centennial Camaro, and it was like really fast. And he did a curve doing 145. And I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm just like, I'm yelling. And it's like I want to throw up because it was so fast. And I wanted to throw up. And I'm like, he was like, we're just having a little fun. Okay, I'll slow down. I'm like, you could have killed me.
You're playing with our life right now.
You could have killed someone else.
Yeah.
You could have killed us in this little car. So I'm really upset. I'm really mad. So I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And we go home, and I just went to bed. So the next morning, he made breakfast for everyone. Now it's Black Friday.
And his brother and sister-in-law are still staying with you guys?
Yes, but they were in separate cars at that time with the curve. So he made breakfast for us on that day, and we went to Walmart and bought some things. Everything was good, came back. So now we're going to a dinner party at his sister. And she lived about 15 minutes from me, and she wanted the party because it was our first Thanksgiving married.
As a married couple.
Which I'd already been around them. They already knew me,
right.
But it was married. So it was just a real intimate thing, and we were playing games, and it was like 6 of us only.
Yeah.
So we're there. Now we're there. And everything is great. He's made this toast, and he's made this talk about how he just knows now how thankful and blessed he is to have me as his wife. And he's like, I just want to make up for some of the things that I've done. I'm sorry. We've had a little rough patch, and I think it's just us adjusting to being with each other now, and I know that I'm who she wants to be with, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. He made this talk. And so I'm still confused. Like, why you didn't tell me that?
Right. You're putting on a big show for everybody else.
Yeah, why you didn't tell me that?
Right.
Why? But I'm like, okay, I'm going to accept it.
Yeah.
I'm going to accept it because it sounded sincere. Well, they're drinking really heavily, and the alcohol is coming, and I had a glass of wine, and typically I would have been like drinking with them, like drinking my wine, but something, and I'm going to say something, told me not to do it. And so I'm like, So I just held it. And I didn't drink it. And they were drinking everything, vodka, wine, beer, taking shots, Crown, all kind of things. And I was just mixing it. And I kind of walked over to him and I said, be careful, we're going home later.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I winked at him and he was like, oh, I know. And I'm like, okay, be careful. But honestly, I was really getting worried because they were drinking so much. It just didn't look healthy.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything wrong. It was just a lot of alcohol consuming at such a short time.
Right.
So he starts admiring this picture that's on her mantle, and the pictures of her family, his sister, their family, his sisters, brothers, and his dad. And he has a big family. But he's the only one not on the picture. So it's starting to bother him. So I'm watching his body language, and I know that he's off, and I know he can't see. And so I walk up to him, and I was like, babe, what's wrong? And he turns to me, and he says, tell me who's on this picture. And I said, and I named everybody on the picture, and it was his nieces and nephews. They were on there too. And I said, it was probably on a day that you were out of town, somewhere else, because it was an older picture.
Right.
And I said, you probably just wasn't there. And so he just stood there with it. And so I just turned around and walked away. And I sat down, and the way the kitchen was set is I could see the living room. And I was on a bench, and there's a table, and there's like this armoire right here. And I asked his brother, I said, do you mind if I use your glasses so he can see? And he was like, no, sis. This is the one who's staying with us, the brother. No, sis, no, go ahead. And so he comes into the kitchen, and I grabbed the glasses, and I said, take a look through these. Maybe you can see. So he puts them on, and he looks through them, and he says, takes them, and he was like, I can't see out of these. And he threw them. And when he threw them, he hit me in the chest here. And when he hit me, I slid off the bench. And I'm thinking, was that on purpose? Wait a minute, what happened? And he didn't say anything. Nobody said anything. It was like the room was silent. Yeah. And there were other people, the other 4 people plus him in the room. We're all together, but nobody said anything.
Nobody reacted or anything.
So it made me feel like, has this happened before?
Yeah. What just happened?
Because nobody said anything. So I proceeded to get up, and when I looked at him, I said, don't you ever do that again. And he says, what are you going to do about it? But he cussed me. And I said, what? I'm not going to do anything about it, but you're not going to put your hands on me.
Yeah.
And he hits the table really hard, and he goes outside. And he sits in the back of the car because we rode over there with his sister and brother-in-law, his brother and sister-in-law. He sits in the back of the car, and I'm inside. Nobody said anything. And I'm like, okay, all right.
What are you thinking, like, do y'all think this is normal? Is this okay? Why is nobody reacting?
That's in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that.
Right.
And so I just grabbed my phone, and I hit for an Uber. And it showed an Uber not far away. It was like 8 minutes away. And I said, do you mind if I clean up the mess that we made? Because we had been eating and playing cards and food and sweets and stuff. I said, I'm going to clean up this mess that I made, and I'm going to go home. And they're like, why are you going home? I said, I don't even feel like I have to even explain.
Right.
So I'm cleaning up the mess, and they're like, his sister's like, I'm going to go talk to him. I'm going to go outside. And I said, you do whatever you feel you need to do, but I'm going home.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm thinking I'm outnumbered.
Yeah.
Even though I've been around them all this time since he and I, apparently I am alone. I need to go.
And in that, it made you feel like you're the problem. There was something wrong with you because nobody else had a problem with what happened.
I felt like they had seen him do this before, and they was supporting him.
Just excused it.
Yes, that's what I feel. It was just excused.
Yeah.
And not addressed. And so if that's how it is, I definitely need to get out of here because this is your family. It's not mine.
Right.
Even though I thought it was, it's not.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's not. So the Uber gets there, and it's cold now. And so I grab my coat, and he's outside yelling my name. Michelle, come here. And I keep walking. And so when I got to the car, I turned around and I said, I'm not coming, and I will talk to you when you get home. And I turned to his brother, and I said, please make sure he and you guys sober up before you come.
Right.
So I go home, and I get there, and I go upstairs, and I'm taking off all my clothes as I'm going up the stairs. And I cried the whole way, and I just got in the bed face down, and I dozed off. And I was devastated. I was really devastated because I believed him. I believed all the sorries. I believed that I'm going to make it work. I believed that this is not going to happen again. I believed him. And in that moment, I knew it was a lie. And it wasn't just somebody that I was dating. This was somebody that I married, and I carried his last name, and I felt was sacred. I felt it was so important. So my heart it's not shattered, but my heart is aching. Yeah. I have an ache that, I just went to sleep. And I was awakened an hour later because I looked at the clock, and there's that something again. And it was like I had a nervousness in my stomach that told me to grab my phone. So I did. I just grabbed the phone, and I put it in my hand, and I put my hand back under the pillow, and I dozed back off. And I was awakened to footsteps, probably like 30 to 40 minutes later. Footsteps running down the sidewalk. And I knew it was him. I knew it was his feet. How I knew, I don't know. Probably who else would be running? I knew it was him. And I'm thinking, I hope he just comes in here and goes to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk to him tonight.
Right.
I really don't want him to come in here and get in the bed. I want him to just sleep on the couch.
Sleep it off.
But I ain't even going to say nothing.
Yeah.
That was my plan. But I'm positioned in the bed in a way that I can see him out my peripheral, but he can't really see my face because I sleep face down between my arms. Mm-hmm. And we had a bathroom in our bedroom. So he comes in, he goes in the bathroom, and he's holding a full-fledged conversation with himself. And he's turning his head side to side, like, what did I do? What am I supposed to do? When did that happen? Why? He's talking to himself. But I'm still not scared. Yeah. I'm still not thinking he's going to do something. I'm just thinking
too much to drink.
He just had too much to drink. Yeah. He's going to, because I've never seen him in that capacity, the way he was there. I've never seen that. So that was brand new for me. I'd seen him drinking before. We've drank before, but he's never been like that.
Right.
Totally different person. So he comes to the foot of the bed and he just stands there. And so I didn't move. I just, stayed there. And before I probably wasn't going to even raise my head or anything, but before I could even respond to him saying, where did he take you? The Uber. Before I could even respond, he grabs my legs and pulls me out of the bed really fast. Like
by your legs.
By my legs. And when he pulls me out, and mind you, we've been working out, so I was really tiny. I was really small. Really small. When he pulled me out, he just grabbed me by the throat. And he pins me up on the wall. And he's like trying to throw me through the wall. Like as hard as he could through the wall. And the TV's beside it, so he's trying to hit me with the TV. He's trying to hit me with the TV, but hit me with the wall. He doesn't really know which one he wants to use, but he's trying his hardest. He's just bam, bam, bam. And so I managed to maneuver his hand in my mouth from here to here, up. And I bit down as hard as I could. I don't have any clothes on. And he drops me. Well, I could hear the brother and the sister-in-law coming in. So they stayed in the car. Later, I found out why. They came in, and she's yelling because she sees him, like, grabbing me, and I'm crawling, and he's pulling me, and he's yanking me. He's grabbing my hair, and she's like, you're going to hurt her. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. You're supposed to be in here apologizing. You're supposed to be telling her you're sorry. Leave her alone. But he's not responding, and he's not talking. He's not saying anything. And I'm still trying to find something to put on because I'm looking for clothes. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for an escape, but I'm looking to get clothed before I make the escape because it's cold outside too. And I want to be covered up.
Right.
But I can't find anything because we had cleaned up. You know how sometimes you have clothes on a chair or something, like a little jacket or robe.
Right.
He had put everything away. Everything was cleaned up. So I managed to kick him and get away from him because he's pulling my legs. And I get to the living room, and I'm crawling, and I'm looking around, and he comes out like forceful, like really fast. And so the sister-in-law steps out, and she just says, are you okay? Well, she doesn't think even that something is about to transpire. She walks on over to the other side because that's where they were staying. Well, he did too, but he did it forcefully, like fast. So I'm thinking, okay, I got to get to this closet, and I'm going to find a jacket or something. Well, he runs in there, and he grabs something, and he comes out. And when he comes out, I turn around, and it's like, bam, right in the forehead. Right in the center of my head. And I'm like, I don't know if I blacked out. I don't even know what happened in that moment. I just knew that nothing made sense. And I'm just like, where am I? It was kind of like I was dazed, but I wasn't all the way out, but I was dazed and like really, really, really lethargic immediately. And he's hitting me. And he's hitting me and he's hitting me. And I'm trying to stay up. I'm trying not to get down. And I look over, and we're close to the kitchen, and that I had an opportunity to pick up a knife, and I could have, but something told me not to. And I'm like, I ain't gonna do that, because I'm scared of jail. I'm scared to go to jail. That's a couple of things. I'm scared to go to jail, and I was afraid. I was afraid that if I killed him, they would blame me.
Right.
Because I've never reported anything. I never called the police on him for anything. He called on me, but I've never called on him. I don't have any protective order. I don't have anything showing that we've had any type of abuse. So if I kill him, I'm going to jail. And it's going to be my fault, even though it's in self-defense.
Right.
But they're standing there and they're going to take his side, because they've already proved to me that they're going to take his side.
Right.
That was in my mind.
And if you don't think that and see that, then you've never experienced it.
Never experienced it.
Because that is how it goes for every woman that I've had in this room and talked to.
Better believe it. I know a woman who is serving time right now because she was protecting herself, but there was nothing documented. So that came into my, out of everything, that came into my mind, and I didn't get it. I didn't take it. So I ended up falling down because I couldn't contain it, because it was so hard. It was so heavy. It was horrible. And he's pulling my hair. He's kicking me, spitting on. He's doing everything you could possibly think of. And so his brother watched it all. His brother standing there.
What?
His brother never attempted to stop this. And this is important. Before you marry someone, you better know their family. You don't want to marry a family who will support someone no matter what they do to you.
And sit there and watch it happen.
He watched every bit of it. And he could have kept his brother from going to jail.
Yeah.
He could have helped me from being beat brutally like this. He could have stopped it. He could have tried to stop it.
Right.
He could have attempted, but he never once. He only fueled him. The more he talked bad about me, the brother, like he cussed me out, the more he was doing that, he called me everything. The more he was empowered. It was like
the brother was cussing you out, basically hyping him up for what he's doing, like it was justified.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
I will never forget that, because he stood in the corner and he stood in front of me because I was facing him and he was in that corner, and he's an image that I can still see standing there. And she's on her hands and knees trying to help me. She's trying everything that she can. So he's strangling me, and it's bad. I mean, and I'm still nude, and he's strangling me, and it's like the body fluids are going to exit my body.
Right.
And I saw visions of my kids, my mom, my grandkids. And in that moment, I said in my mind, how will my family get over me dying this way? That is what I thought about. How will they get over this? And a voice came and said, get up. And I'm like, but it was fast. It wasn't slow. I'm like, get up. How am I going to get up? Get up. Out of all of the chaos, the sister-in-law yelling and the brother, all of this yelling, but he's not talking. He's only breathing, and he's squeezing my throat. And so, remember I had the phone? I'm going to go back to that. I still had it through everything that happened. I never let it go until he started strangling me. That's when I dropped it. And when I dropped it, it was beside me. And when the voice It was God. It was the Holy Spirit told me to get up. That's the only reason I'm living today. So when I went to get up, my hand went on top of my phone. I pushed down and it FaceTimed my mom. My mom appeared on the screen and she screamed. My mom had no intention. She never called me. Nothing. She had gotten up at that moment when I was going through that and went to use the bathroom. When she came from the bathroom, she looked down at her phone and picked it up. And I was there. And she saw him and she screamed. It didn't ring. Have no idea. But it FaceTimed and she saw everything. And so she screamed. And when she screamed, he jumped. And I jumped. I jumped up. I got up. So my mom was the one that made the first contact with calling the police. She called the police. And now, mind you, she's 45 minutes away. She doesn't know if I'm living or dead. All she sees was that image. So she has to come 45 minutes to find out if I'm alive or not. It didn't end there. So when I got up, I had to think, fight or flight. What am I going to do? And I still don't know what I look like because I've been hit with something.
Right.
Okay. And I'm bloody. But I don't know that.
Yeah.
Because my adrenaline is running and, you know, I just lived. And so he's sitting behind me. And so I think I'm going to go to this closet. And when I get to this closet, I'm going to grab this jacket and I'm going to run out this door. That's what I'm going to do. That was my plan. But every time I moved up, so did he. Every time the brother's still over there. Every time I eased up, so did he. When I got ready to get all the way up, so did he. I knew I was not going to be able to go to that closet. He either was going to get me in the closet and kill me. That was my thought. So I opened the front door and I screamed as loud as I could, "Somebody please help me." And when I looked, my neighbor and his wife was coming and he was running with a gun pointed. And I'm just like, I froze. And he looked at me, and by the time he put it down, my ex-husband came and kicked me out down a flight of stairs. We lived in a townhouse. Down the flight of stairs, out the door. I'm flying in the air. I land on my leg, naked. I jump up. This whole side was messed up. I jump up and I run, and I'm in the parking lot. I'm out there, and I'm like, "Will you give me your shirt? Can you give me some?" People are like throwing stuff over the balcony. Like, here's some shorts. Here's a shirt. Here's some shoes. You know, people are throwing stuff to give me. And I asked someone to use their phone, and I didn't know that he had snuck out of the back, out of the apartment behind me. I didn't know he had snuck out. And he went all the way around, and I'm walking to the parking lot, and I'm feeling that I'm safe now.
That you've gotten away.
But I didn't. He came up from behind me, and he caught me on the phone because I did call 911.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you just a few steps back. When I was kicked outside and I got up to run, that was the first time I realized I was fighting for my life. I didn't know that he really wanted me to die until then. Everything I endured, I didn't know. So when I got outside, that's when I became afraid, but I thought I had gotten away.
Right.
But I was afraid because he was still alive and he was still in there.
Right.
So I've got to call 911 because I wanted to live. I didn't want to die.
Yeah.
I wanted to live, and I wanted to live mentally. I didn't want to go back to that. And I knew if I did, it was going to be worse. Right. So I'm calling 911 myself, and I'm thinking, I know my mom's called. But where are they? Because I don't live far from the police station.
Right.
From the police station to where I lived was like 6 miles. That's how close. But I'm like, where are they? And he comes behind and he hears me on the phone and he hits me in the back of the head. And I slid. I didn't fall, but I slid in the shoes that I had on. The phone drops, and now he's chasing me in the parking lot. And now he's talking. We're running around cars, and he's like, we're going to die today. This is the last time we're going to spend together. We're going to die. And I'm like, we're not going to die. I'm not going to die. No, I'm not. And so finally, I hear the police helicopter. But I don't know that it's the police helicopter, but I hear a helicopter.
Yeah.
And it's coming fast. And I look up, and the light is shining down. And I thought, okay, that's the police. The light is shining down. And when it shined down, it came directly on top of him. He looks up at the light, and he pauses. And it's almost like someone did this, and he did this.
Like snapped out of it?
He snapped out of it. And he looked at me. He's looking at me like, who are you? What happened to you? And he just kind of freezes, and he turns around and he walks away. And he walked inside. He went inside, and now all of the cars are coming. The police cars are like flying. Shoot, shoot. And I'm standing in the parking lot, and one stops right in front of me. And so I began to realize, oh my gosh, the worst thing has happened to me. Something I've never experienced in my life. And they throw me in on a stretcher in the ambulance. People are coming out with blankets, and everyone's coming out now. I think people were scared, didn't really understand or know what was going on. So people are coming out with blankets and water. And, I'm like, where's my mom? Is my mom here? I just need to go to my mom. I don't want to get in no ambulance. I just want to, and they're like, ma'am, we cannot let your mom see you like this. You have no idea what you look like.
Yeah.
And I get in the ambulance, and they're taking my blood pressure. She's about to have a stroke. So they're stabbing me in both of my arms and everything. And I turned to him and I said, what are you talking about, how I look? And he says, ma'am, you look like you've been in the ring with Mike Tyson all night long and you never got a lick in. That's how bad you look. And I said, oh, I do? Because I wasn't in pain. It literally was almost like God shielded me with pain. He allowed me to go through this for a reason. But he shielded a lot of pain that I had to endure. My memory went away, so a lot of things didn't come back to me until I went to therapy. I didn't stay in the hospital long because I was near blind. And I had to have an eye surgeon who was not contracted with the hospital. So I had to leave and go to her office. And I went to see her every single day to save my eyesight.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. So I went through so much in such a short time. I couldn't see. I had to wear a patch. I had 2 black eyes. They were worried that it was going to tear. It was so brutal of what he did to me. He did go to jail that night. They arrested him. He eluded police. He tried to run away from them. And his children bonded him out like a week later. So it's his family. It's his children, So I did everything that was required of me. I did everything with the police investigator. I did a protective order. A lot of people say that's just a piece of paper. It is a piece of paper, but it will protect you in the event that if you get away from them and you have to protect yourself, you're protected.
Right.
So remember when I said if I would have killed him, I had nothing.
Right. Documented.
Well, I have it now.
That's a good way to look at that, because I do hear so many people say, what am I going to do? Throw the protective order at him when he's coming at me? No, but if you do have to defend yourself.
But you're going to defend
now
yourself.
You have that documentation
that right.
of why.
And it's on your person. The protective order was on my person at all times. And if he looked like he wanted to come at me, I would have protected myself by any means necessary,
right.
because I was not going to take that again.
Yeah.
Because now I felt safe to be able to protect myself.
To stand up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he ended, I'll go forward. We ended up going to court. I didn't have to testify because he pled guilty to all the charges. He was charged with assault and battery with a deadly weapon.
Because did he pick up an object and hit you in the head with it?
Mm-hmm. He was charged for having brass knuckles.
Wow.
And strangulation, eluding police, and domestic assault. He was charged with those 4. He didn't remember, this is what I was told, because, again, I never allowed him to talk to me. I didn't accept his call. I blocked his number, and I would not see him. I have never seen nor spoken to him since that night. The only sight that I've had of him was the back of him when we went to the courthouse.
And the strength that takes.
It was hard. It was so hard. I'm going to tell you, it was hard because I wanted answers.
I was going to say, because we want to know why. Why would you do that? What's the explanation? But there is no explanation to justify it.
There's nothing he could have said that would have changed what he did. Right. There was nothing he could have done. So I replaced my desire to know with the way he had been treating me. I replaced that. I need to know. Why do you need to know? I would ask myself. But I didn't start asking myself that until I went to therapy. Mm-hmm. So I hit therapy immediately. When you become a victim of a crime like that, the state will pick up your tab. They'll pay for your bills. They'll pay for your therapy. And so I took advantage of that.
Yeah.
I went immediately, and I went every single week. And my therapist helped me to understand why I was grieving him. Why am I grieving a man that tried to kill me?
Yeah.
I wasn't grieving that. I was grieving the man I thought he was.
The good part.
I was grieving the good
friendship,
part.
The working out
the
together.
Love and yeah. I was grieving that. And that's when I began to change my thoughts to, why do you need to know that? Versus, he did make you walk home.
Right.
He did put you out the car. He did take a curve at 145 miles an hour. Why do you need to know? And I would ask myself that. And I couldn't find a reason why I needed to know.
Right.
Because it never changed all of the abuse that I endured that night. I've never been abused mentally, physically, emotionally, nothing, financially, none of that from him until that night. And I stood up for me because I wanted to live. And I told God, I want to live. And I want to live for you, because I wasn't living for him. I was living for my marriage. I replaced it. And we serve a God that is jealous. And I was living the life that I thought I should be living. I'm not out doing anything wrong. I'm not doing any crimes. I'm not mistreating people. Right. But it was more that God wanted from me than to just place my husband ahead of him. And I asked God, why did I have to go through this? And he told me, I had to break your heart to save your soul, because I was not living for God. I was not praying like I should. I was not reading. I didn't have a relationship with him. And that was not who I was supposed to be. He had more for me than that. And when I wake up every day, it's God wakes me up. I don't wake up on my own. I didn't survive this on my own. There is no way I could have survived this on my own. And so I had to look at, who am I? Who did I become? Why did I become that person? What happened to me? I come from a loving background. I come from a loving family. I've never had anything that a lot of people have had to fight through.
Right.
I have never had anything. And that was God's way of allowing me to go through it one time to save me. And I feel that's why I'm so passionate about this. My head is not held down like it was. I used to be embarrassed. I used to be ashamed. I used to just didn't want people to look at me. Oh man, now I'm the divorced girl again. Here we go again. Mm-hmm. Now she's divorced, you know. And I had hard work to do. I had to go back and find out who I was because I never really knew who I was. And once I found out who I was, I would have never married him.
Right.
He would have never been in my eyesight because I didn't know who I was. And he always had those red flags. I just never opened my eyes to see it.
Right.
Because I saw that friend that I wanted, a friend that he was. But there were things that he did that now I think back on it that he shouldn't have been doing that.
Right.
He shouldn't have put me in another car. I have my own car.
Right.
He shouldn't have been doing all these things. Calling me on the phone when I'm with my friends. I just want to make sure y'all are taking care of my wife. Different things like that. That is not normal. That is not right. And I would have never done that had I known who I was. And I had to get back to God. I went to church and God started revealing so many things about me that I didn't like. He took me through rooms in my house, that conversations that he and I had that I overlooked. And all of this came to me in a dream. I was fighting for my life. I was fighting for myself. I was fighting for my soul.
Right.
Because I did not know what I was headed for, and it was destruction. And I probably would have died in destruction had God not favored me and said, no, this is not the path I had for you. I know that's the only reason I lived, because it was so brutal. It was so graphic. It was so awful that he was sentenced to prison only for what he did to me. There was no background.
No prior, no nothing. Just
Nothing.
that one night.
And nobody ever goes to prison for domestic violence.
No. Especially in Texas.
And especially in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They may go to jail.
Right. Oh, yeah, but not prison.
But
yeah.
not he is in prison right now. He is incarcerated. And I went to work really fast. You know, I've got to detach from this because this emotional bonding we have,
Yes.
It was almost like I felt his pain.
Right.
I felt him restless. I felt him mad. I felt all of the emotions that he was feeling physically, and I was getting sick. And I had to break free from him. And I hired a sheriff to go down to the prison that he went to and served him with divorce papers. I needed it. I was not going to wait for him to get out and try and find him.
Right.
Working smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they did. They stood in front of him and made him sign it. I was able to get my divorce. And I'm so happy I was able to get my name back. I gave him his name back. Everything that we had together, I gave away.
Yeah.
I gave my beds away, my couches, my TVs, every single thing that was tied to him, every wedding gift, everything. And I started over from zero.
Start completely over.
Zero.
Wow.
I trusted God. I trusted my therapist. I had a circle of women that centered around me because God sent me to a church that I never went to. That was a mega church in Tulsa, and I was fearful to even go. I was scared to death because I am suffering from PTSD now.
Yeah.
I'm suffering from all of this. Anxiety, PTSD, depression. I have it all. And I am suffering. And I am scared of everything. If I heard a helicopter, I would cry. If I saw a police car, the lights on, racing by, I would literally have to pull over because the sound of it rang in my head so loud. It was almost like they were coming to save me. And I was like froze. My brain told me to freeze that night. That's how I survived.
Right.
So I had to freeze in everything. That's what I felt I had to do. And he sent me to this church. And a lady attended the church that messaged me on Facebook one night. This was all a setup. She was selling dogs. And I said, I want one of your dogs. And she was like, you do? I was like, yes. Now, I'm living with someone else who doesn't like dogs. And I'm like, I know I can't have a dog. Mm-hmm. What am I doing? Well, that situation brought a conversation up between us. And she says, are you okay? And I said, I'm not. And she said, well, can I come and get you? Where are you? Are you safe? Or is something going on? She didn't know anything.
Wow.
And I said, no, you can't come get me. I'm safe. And she said, will you come to church with me? I'll come and pick you up. And I was like, okay, I'll go. She was like, are you okay? Why are you talking like that? I said, well, I'm not sure. And so I just stopped talking to her. So she came back again and she's typing. And she says, you're worrying me. Give me your address and I'll come pick you up. And I said, I'll just come to the church. So she gave me the address to the church. And I was scared. I sat in the parking lot and I cried so hard. So her and her husband comes outside and gets me and holds my hand and takes me in. Every Sunday that I went, I never missed a Sunday. Even though when I was there, I wasn't listening. I was just there. I didn't hear anything that was going on. But they would come out every Sunday, hold my hand, walk me in. I'd leave. They'd take me outside, put me in the car. I'd drive off. Let me know when you get home. I did this for about a month. And now I'm starting to feel people like they're centering around me. And I'm starting to relax and I'm getting comfortable and I'm meeting so many people and I start to feel better. And I wasn't going to go this Sunday and I pulled up my computer and I logged on to see because there was more than one service. So I wanted to see what the service was about. And that particular service was about identity issues. And I said, so I hurried up and I jumped in the shower, I changed clothes, and I made it to the second service. And I called them and I said, I'm going to walk in myself. And they're like, what? I said, I'm going to walk in by myself. I just want you to know, don't come and get me. Mm-hmm. So when I got in, I didn't sit with them. I sat in the center of the church as far down as I could get. It was like the third row from the pastor. And my group of people would sit far over here. And they didn't even know that I was in there. And they were looking for me, texting me and everything. And when I sat there and the minister started speaking, it was Victory Church. My life changed forever. Pastor Paul began to play a song on his guitar. And it felt like I was the only person in the church. And God was rocking me to the lyrics of the song. And all of my pain began to fall. All of my anxiety began to fall. All of my fear began to fall. All of the negative thoughts I had began to fall. It literally fell. And he said, when you are created in the image of God, there's nothing you can't do. No one can tell you who you are or who you're supposed to be, because there is no one greater, because you are made in the likeness of God. That is who you are. You're not what you've been through. You're not what you're going through. And he's talking to me, but he doesn't know that he's talking to me. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know that I even go to that church. Right. He doesn't know anything. And he's not looking at me, but he's talking to me. And my life changed, and I got up and I was baptized that day. That same day. I didn't plan it. It just happened. I was baptized, and I never looked back. And I began to, all of the women just centered around me, and I just kept going to things with them. I kept going to lunches. I kept going to empowerment. I did discipleship. I did everything. I served others. I would go to the homeless shelter. I would go to the women that was in these apartments and talk to them and hang out with their kids, and whatever the church had going on, I volunteered. And it took my mind off of everything that was happening. I'm still having to do everything. Right. I'm still going, and my therapy is really working. I did the EMDR therapy, which is for trauma. Yeah. I went through that. I did that, and oh my goodness. So I'm doing everything, like it's all at one time, and I'm exhausted. I'm so exhausted because I can't stop, and I'm afraid to stop. If I stop, then I'm going to start thinking, and I'm going to start getting upset, or I'm going to, I'm not going to be where I need to be. That was my mindset, and I just kept going. And I decided it's time for me to leave. So I prayed, and I was like, Lord, this is not the place for me anymore. I can't stay in the same place that it happened. I can't go to the same places I went to. Right. I can't fall back into relationships just because I feel like I'm in a good place. I'm not ready. I'm not healed. I need to move forward. Where am I going? Where are we going? Because I can't go without you. And that's how I ended up here. I loaded up everything in my car that I could. Again, I'm starting from zero. Right. I don't know what I'm going to do. So, but I trust you, God. Wherever you tell me to go, I will go, and I will help anybody I can along the way. I will put my hand down and pull you up as I go up. That's who I want to be. That's who I'm going to be. So I ended up here. I stayed on the couch with my son for a while, and it's time, and I ventured off on my own, and here I am. And can I say that it's been easy? No, but it's one day at a time. Sometimes it was 1 minute at a time, right. And it's 1 second at a time. And if you believe in yourself, the sky's the limit, because I am not what I went through. That is not who I am. Right. It made me who I am. And do I regret it? No, because I wouldn't have a relationship with God had I not gone through that. I would still be living by the seat of my pants, however I wanted, because that was not the calling that God had on my life. So I'm here. I'm in the moment. I'm present. And I'm mentally available.
I love that. I love that what you went through, and you mentioned reaching down and helping other women. And that's exactly why I wanted you to share your story, because what you've been through, someone else is at home going through that right now. Or a woman just got married and her husband is going through her phone and asking to have a joint Facebook, and she's ignoring those signs because we look at, I think as women, we naturally go, well, what can I do to make this better? How can I show them more love? How can I fix this? And so you sharing that story, and I want to applaud you for the strength that it took to never go back. Because statistically, it usually takes women seven times to leave. Yes. And so the trauma and the near-death experience that you went through, you had enough strength to dive into counseling, to dive into church and faith, and to do all these things to build yourself and put yourself back together. And that's so hard.
Yes.
So the strength that it took to do that, like, I just want to applaud you for that. And I hope that other women hear that message and they realize that they don't need to go back and get those answers.
No.
They don't need to understand him and this,
No.
what is this broken boy that,
No.
what is damaged in him that I can help heal
No.
him and help. You don't need that.
No.
You have your answer.
Yes. Because you cannot fix them.
Right.
There's nothing you can do. You have to fix you.
Right.
That is hard enough.
Yeah.
I had to go back to the little girl I was when I was 1 year old and fix her.
Right.
And bring her along with me.
Right.
I had to apologize to that little girl and tell her we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're not gonna be broken.
Yeah.
We're gonna be whole. So I asked my mom hard questions. I asked family members hard questions. Just things. Nothing major.
Right.
My father died when I was 16. I never got over that.
Yeah.
I was broken from that.
Right.
All of my young adult life. I carried it for 40 years, almost 40 years of pain from him not being present. And then he was murdered. I had to ask questions to heal from that.
Yeah.
Because I believe in love. I still believe that there's someone for me.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to go chase it.
Yeah.
I want to give that man a fair chance with me. So that means I have to heal myself so that he's not having to take on my hurt, my past, my junk.
Right.
So I'm working on me until God sends him.
Yeah.
And I'm told it'll happen when you least expect it.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe. So I didn't jump into relationships. I know that that was not right, and that was not going to work.
Right.
And I just want all women to go to therapy.
Yes.
Because it cannot hurt you.
Right.
There's nothing in therapy that will hurt you. It will help you in areas that you don't even realize. Because the EMDR therapy, it had things in it that I didn't even know existed in me.
Yeah.
In me.
So, because I've looked at EMDR therapy, and I've looked up different therapists that offer it, but I know it's like
eye movement desensitization. I forgot what the R stands for. Realization or something like that is eye movement desensitization. So what that means is I no longer am attached to the trauma. So when you talk about him or you talk about what happened, I'm detached from it. It's still present, but I have no feelings towards it.
Okay.
So it removes the feelings that you have. And the best way to describe it is like getting on a train. You're riding a train and you're looking out the window and everything is passing by you really fast and it's black and white. That's what's in your brain and that's what's happening. So it's like taking all of this stuff, bringing it forth, things in the back that you didn't know was there when you were younger, and it removes you from it. But it's present, but your feelings, you're not crying, you're not devastated, you're not emotional. So when sometimes when I'm like, look at me in this picture, I can't believe it. Look at my face. And people are looking at me like, how are you looking at that like that? I'm about to freak out. I'm like, I'm detached from it.
Yeah, I cried looking at the
right.
When you said the
Everyone
picture.
cries. Yeah. And
yeah.
There are people that will tell me, please don't show that because it makes me sad. It makes me hurt. And, and I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that it does, but it doesn't that to me anymore. I look at it and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is what I went through, guys. Before, it was like...
Because it takes you back to that place of when you experienced the trauma and your whole body is back there. But the EDMR therapy helps you have distance between
it desensitizes you from it and you have no feelings towards it. You're not emotional about it. Like,
yeah,
it removes it. And it's very, very hard work. Very hard work.
Yeah.
And not everyone can teach it. You know, there are only certain people take it. And it's for people that have gone through trauma, like police officers take it, firemen, they take this type of therapy because it's that powerful for trauma.
Right.
And I recommend it because I don't, now when a helicopter comes or a police car, I'm just like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
let me move over.
Right.
When before it was like,
It was a trigger.
it was a major trigger.
Yeah.
I would cry for weeks.
Wow.
But now I don't have PTSD. I do not have anxiety. I do not have depression. And most of all, I never took one drug.
Wow.
Not one drug.
Because you threw yourself into healthy ways of healing.
Yes.
And it's hard to do that.
Hard.
So hard. And I don't even want to say easier way, but it's not as hard. A lot of people self-medicate.
Yes.
With drugs
Which,
or alcohol.
you know what? And I don't want to knock medications because they're designed for you to take it.
Right.
Under a doctor's care. They're designed.
Right.
But I didn't because I've never been able to take, I've never been one to take medication. I don't want to. I just never have. But I wanted to be present.
Right.
I didn't want to take something that was going to knock me out. I was scared. I didn't want to go to sleep. I wanted to be like, what if he came?
Alert.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I want to be present. I want to know what's going on. Those was in my mind too.
Right.
But then I wanted it to be real. I wanted it to be raw because I was desperate. I was desperate to heal. I was desperate to not be that victim. I was desperate to not repeat that. I was desperate to show my kids that is not who I am. Yeah. I was desperate for my girls, my grandkids. I was desperate for my mother. I had to build myself up because I have to live for God, for one, but I want my family to see that is not who I am.
That one thing does not define
that
the
does
rest
not define
of my
the
life.
rest of my life. And I knew that when God let me live, I knew that I was going to be out here on the battlefield. Yeah. And I knew I had to be right. And I couldn't self-medicate. I couldn't medicate. Yeah. I couldn't do any of that. Yeah. And my doctors wanted me to for a short time. And I took the prescription, but I didn't take it. Yeah. They were like, I'm going to prescribe it. And then when I go to the doctor, like, how's it working? I'm like, I'm okay. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. You know, and they're like, did you take it? No, but I'm going to take it. Every appointment, it was like, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. Yeah. I would fight through it. And I'm going to tell you, it was hard. Right. It was hard. And sleepless nights. It was hard.
And whatever healthy avenue people choose is going to be harder than, and if you choose medication, if you choose counseling, those are still, working on you. But, a lot of times some of the stories that I've heard, it was easier to go to alcohol or like not prescription drugs, or abuse prescription drugs.
But
because
that's temporary.
Because you just want to be numb and you want to not feel it.
But that's temporary.
And that's what I was going to say. That's not healing who you are, and that's not helping you get to.
I feel like when you do that, you're still in bondage. Yeah. You're still in the presence with that perpetrator, abuser. You're still giving them the power over you. Yeah. You're giving them power, and the best way to take your power back and the best way for revenge on them is to heal.
Is to heal and become whole and healthy and live a fulfilling life.
Absolutely. You let them win when you let a perpetrator win or an abuser when you're silent. Yes. And you hide. And you don't heal. Yeah. You let them win. Right. You let them control you. Even if they're not around.
Even if they're gone from the picture, they still have control over you.
They still have control over you. Yeah. You have to wake up and choose yourself. Choose you. Every day, choose you. And I chose myself every day. There's a song that calls I'm Choosing Myself. And I would listen to that on repeat every day until I believed it.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it right away. Nobody wants me. I'm this, I'm that, all the negative thoughts.
Right.
And my therapist was so hard. She would be like, how are you feeling today? I would have to go in and tell her how I was feeling today. I have to show her. And, okay, why? Why are you feeling that way? Why? And I would have to explain why. And then she was like, we'll replace it immediately with something else. What is it that you want to be? Who are you? And I would have to replace it. And it was like, I already know I'm going to have to do this. So let me, I started doing that. Like, okay, I'm happy today. Okay, well, what makes you happy? I need to know what makes you happy. So I talked to myself. I've set cards out. I had cards for reminders because I lost my memory for a while.
Wow.
And I had to think about, I forget where I was going. I lost my memory for a long time. So I had cards that told me things, and I would say it. People would give me flashcards and all that. And I believed it. I started believing it. And then I would get the scriptures, and then I had accountability partner. They would call me and we would talk, and, I just dove in. And that's what we as women have to do. We have to center ourselves around other women that are productive and positive and latch on. We cannot do it alone. You cannot close the door by yourself. You cannot do it alone.
Right. And reprogram your self-talk. So like you were saying, if I'm feeling like I'm unloved or I'm not worthy, or replacing that self-talk and reprogramming how you think about yourself.
Yes. If I'm feeling unloved, well, who loved me enough to let me live? He didn't.
Wow.
So how am I not loved?
Right. Right.
Am I ugly? I was in that moment, but am I now? No. I'm not ugly. I'm not ugly inside.
Yeah.
It's just, you just think about it. And these are things that we know, but sometimes we have to retrain ourselves.
Yes.
Because sometimes we've been beat down and beat up, and lifing has caused us to feel this way about ourselves.
Right.
But everything starts in the mind.
Yes.
Everything. And if you can win the battle in your mind, you've won the race.
Right. There's little things like if I listen to affirmations in the morning, it's something so little to start your day, and it doesn't even take a lot of effort.
No.
But it's so easy. It's so easy that it's so easy not to do also.
Yes.
And so like I applaud the hard work that you did, because staying consistent with working on yourself.
Because days I wanted to give up.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to joke with you. There were days I didn't do anything but get up out of bed and go to work.
Right.
And it's okay. It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
But it's not okay to be that way forever.
Right.
You have your moment, but you got to get back up and you got to get on it. Because the minute you let your guard down, something's going to ease in and take you back there. So you have to control it at all times.
Yeah. So, and just thank you for sharing your story. I know you saw me. I'm glad the camera wasn't on me when I wasn't talking, because I was over here trying not to cry half the time. Got to work on that. But what advice, if there's a woman that hears this story and relates to whatever piece of it, what advice would you tell her if she's in that marriage right now, or in that relationship, or just moved in with her boyfriend and now seeing the mask fall off and see the real him going, oh my gosh, what did I do?
First and foremost, you must move in silence. You don't have to voice what you're going to do. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you better get out of my face. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You move in grace. You pray, you move in grace, you write things down that you need to do, you make a plan. You get with somebody you wholeheartedly trust, and you let them know what's going on. You have to make a plan in silence. You don't have to tell anyone what you're about to do unless it's the person that you trust the most.
Right.
Because if you do, you are in... there's a chance that something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to be quiet about it. No matter how angered you are or how sad you are, scared, move in silence and get out.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to change that person. Red flags are real. Red flags were not talked about when I was younger.
No.
We never talked about domestic violence when I was younger.
No.
Now it's every day, every minute, someone's dying or someone's in a domestic situation. So choose yourself. If you can't choose yourself, choose your children. Choose your family. Choose the Lord. Choose God. God will guide you. And no matter what, and I say this to everyone I meet, if I can do it, you can do it. Because God does not respect the person. To him, we are all the same.
Oh, yep.
So if I took one step, he took 10 steps. But I had to take the step. So take the step to choose you so that you can live a whole life that you were promised, that no one can take away. No one should be able to take away.
Yeah. Thank you. That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Because in those relationships, there's, I don't want to say never, but I haven't ever heard a story where it started out with red flags and it started out with things and it got better and there was a happy ending. It always gets worse. It always
gets
escalates. Worse. They get more abusive. It gets more dangerous.
Yes.
And it always gets worse.
It never changes.
No.
It never changes. The only time it changes is when something bad happens.
Right.
That's the only time it changes. So why would you want to wait
to get to that point?
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't live.
Right. To get past that point. Yeah.
And I'm just thankful that he went to prison and that he's in prison.
And it's powerful to come forward to speak up. So many women are scared to speak up, scared to share their story, which the more education we get on it, people see why. Like everybody's like, oh, why didn't she leave? Now you see why. There's women, like you said, in prison who tried to get out, or in a abusive relationship. The final step when you try to leave ends in murder a lot of the time. So that's why she doesn't just get up and leave.
No, finances, they withhold finances from you. You have kids that you can't take care of. You don't have family that supports you, or you've ran out so many times that people don't believe you're going to leave.
Right, yeah.
You know, people don't understand. I get it. I get why you stay. It's trauma bonding.
Yeah.
And you begin to feel sorry for that person. And you take on it. You take all of that on.
Right.
And it's a lot, but you have to break the cycle and stop it, because that person is not going to ever choose you the way that you need to be chosen.
Right. They are not. They are a broken person, but you cannot fix them. You cannot put them back together.
There's
you can't heal
you can
them.
do.
And you are going to end up being broken by them.
Yes.
You know?
And having babies and thinking, if I have a baby for him, you're just bringing a baby into a violent situation.
Right.
With the possibility of having his characteristics.
Right.
That you're going to have to work hard at.
To
break.
Yeah, to break that cycle.
Yes. So why do that?
Yeah. So the fact that you shared your story, that you went forward with everything in court, that you didn't just dismiss it and not that I think the state probably wouldn't have let you dismiss that one.
They wouldn't have, because they did pick it up.
Yeah.
But I was a very active voice.
I was going to say, but you were there with your statement. You read your statement in court. You did all the things to push it forward, which probably resulted in the sentencing that he got.
It did.
Yeah.
My victim's impact statement did. And I purposely sat and wrote that for over an hour. And the state had to approve it, because when you do a victim's impact statement, you cannot address your relationship. You cannot address the perpetrator. You cannot address any of that. So I sat and I painted a picture to make you feel like you was present in that night.
Wow. And
the district attorney's office asked to make copies of it to pass out to women.
To use as an example.
Yes. And the judge even when I finished reading it, because the district attorney usually is the one that reads it, and I was like, this is my only opportunity in court.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to testify. I want my voice to be the last voice that he hears. And if he didn't remember what happened, then I'm going to paint this picture so he can be present in that moment.
Yeah.
He's instructed not to look at me. He's standing forward. He can't turn around. I'm behind him. He's in front with his attorney, the judge, the district attorney. My mother's in the back, and there's another person in the courtroom. And I began to read that letter, and it was almost like I'm talking right now. I was so empowered.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to read this, and this is how I felt. And the judge, looked at me when I was done, and he said, man, this is so unorthodox for me, but are you okay with his sentencing? And I was like, I looked at the district attorney, and she looked at me, because I was under the impression he was only getting probation. He was not going to serve time.
You almost died, and he was going to get probation.
Mm-hmm. But it changed, and he was sentenced for 7 years for assault and battery with deadly weapon. He was given 3 years for strangulation, 1 year for eluding police, and 1 year for domestic abuse.
And that one letter of you having the courage, because I can't imagine standing up, because it's so intimidating to be in court anyways.
And you scared, oh, I'm scared.
I mean, for me anyways, I hate going into a courtroom. Yeah.
I would cry every time I went in. Before I read the letter, I was crying out in the hall.
Yeah.
Because the atmosphere is so dark and gloomy, and it was horrific.
It's not supportive and uplifting at all.
I cried every time I had to go in there. I would cry so hard when I went to file the divorce. The guy had to come out and help me.
Wow.
He had to walk me over to get it notarized and literally hold my hand to take me where I needed to go. That's how I was just shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you took all that strength, had the strength to read that letter.
Yes.
And in that moment, took your voice back, took your power back.
Yes.
And took your life back.
Yes.
That, just that part alone is so powerful.
Yes. It was important, and I wanted him to hear it. I wanted him to hear it. So that means you go to jail, you go to prison, and I hope that you change, because you did not break me. I hope you change, and I hope you don't do this to another woman.
That's what I was about to say. And the fact that you did that and stayed consistent and pressed to get heavier sentencing, you saved some woman's life. Yes. He's not out there doing it to somebody else.
No.
And that's why it's so important to speak up, to report domestic abuse,
yes.
to report what happens to you, because maybe it was bad with you, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying you, period. Whoever.
Yeah.
It was bad with you and you went through it. It was bad, but
it was bad with me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We know it was definitely. I've seen the pictures. It was life-threatening with you. But someone else that you may be like, it was bad, I got hit or whatever, but I'm going to let it slide. The next person he's with, it's going to be worse.
Yes.
And so, have you seen the My Worst Ex on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made it through it. I got so pissed off watching it.
It's horrible.
Because it just paints the picture and shows women's voices are not always heard.
Mm-mm.
Our justice system is not set up to protect victims.
Exactly.
Because I made it through the first one and I'm in the second one. I was texting my mom last night and she's like, watch something funny or happy before you go to bed. Because I was like, I'm getting so pissed off. Because you won't sleep very good
if you do that. I had to change that too.
They let her go to jail and she was innocent. But this is why I have the podcast. I want women to share their story, because in sharing my personal story, if you didn't know me, people were going, what are you leaving out? She's got a drug problem. There's more to the story. That can't really be how it goes. But it is how it goes.
It
so
is.
The more women that have the courage, like you, to share your story, to press charges, to go to court, we are taking our voices back, our power back, and I just hope women continue to support other women.
Yes, and I hope that women do support other women, because I would not have been able to do it alone.
Yeah.
I leaned on my friends. I let them in. I didn't hold back. I didn't hide. They wiped my face. They took me to the bathroom. They fed me. They picked me up. They took me to the doctor. They helped my mom. And I could not be here without them.
Yeah.
I would not be here. And once he went to prison, they subpoenaed me to court, and I watched them handcuff him. And I left there so empowered. I went and I celebrated. What did I celebrate? Me. I chose me.
Taking your life back.
I took my power back.
Yes.
I celebrated me. I didn't celebrate him going to prison.
Right.
Because I will never celebrate someone's downfall.
Right.
Regardless of what they've done.
Yeah.
I celebrated me. I chose me. And I sat outside near Riverside at the water, and I just breathed. Because now I can breathe.
Yeah.
He's behind bars. And I can breathe, and I can heal without him out,
right,
me wondering where he's at.
And like looking behind your shoulder.
Now you
can just
heal.
focus on you.
Because it wasn't easy.
Man.
We'd be here all day if I talked about everything.
Yeah.
But
Thank you for sharing your
absolutely.
story.
My pleasure.
I'm so inspired. I'm so glad that we connected and that I
Yes.
met you. Is there anything else you want to add?
That I am very, very open to helping anyone. I am here. If you need a call, I'll give you my information that you can put on there if someone wants to talk to me.
Okay.
Email me, anything like that. I'm here. I'm here for the long haul, and it's not just to talk. I'm here to help you make moves.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I would love to, part of this, build a supportive community.
Yes.
To help women that don't have those friends that will come and help you.
Pray with them and encourage them or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, because it's my duty to give back.
I love that.
Thank
you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Is there anything else you want to?
No.
Okay.